Hello and welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 23. I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and with me for my monthly video again this month is Rose Heck. Hi Rose.
Hi Janice.
How's your month been?
It's been not bad, dealing with, lots of different things, but yeah, been busy enough.
You said you got to go get out camping a couple times.
Couple weekends we got some camping done, and that was glorious. I loved it. So can't for the next month, but we'll be back out in August.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have gotten some radishes and some lettuce out of my vegetable garden, so I've been enjoying that. And lots of things are growing really well. I'm not quite sure about the weeds. Like, how can all those weeds come up in a week? I don't know.
Sometimes it seems like a day.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so they're doing really well too.
Good. Good. My radishes have bolted. I think just with some of the hot heat. So I have to do some more seeding, and my lettuce I've been picking, but I think I need to get out there today and get some more lettuce. But yeah.
Nice to have.
It is.
The other thing that I've been doing is I've been a little bit short on staff in the shop. So just with holidays and that kind of thing. So usually I get into trouble when my staff is away, and I've been reorganizing my storage rooms.
Oh no.
So I'll explain a little bit about that and show some of the treasures that I found a little bit later on in the video. But yeah. Oh, the other thing that I did was I hung a whole bunch of new shop models in the shop, things that I've accumulated over the past couple of years, but because we weren't having people in the shop, I didn't take the time to hang them, but I did spend a Sunday afternoon in the shop doing that. So that was a really great thing to get done.
Good.
Yeah. Did you watch the video that we recorded a couple weeks ago with Frida?
Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely.
Isn't she a sweetheart? Yeah,
she is. I haven't seen her since, I want to say 2015, but I might be wrong on that, somewhere a few years ago. So I hadn't seen her for quite a while. So it was just nice vicariously through video to actually see her again. So
yeah. So that was our last video, number 22, and I will link that below for anybody who didn't get to see it. She was showing off and talking in detail about our most recent Traditional Stitches exclusive canvas work project. And I didn't bring the model home with me to show today, but go watch that video and it has all the details in it. So Frida reported back after that video that she did win a ribbon at the Stampede Showcase for the green design, the jade that she talked about. That's going to be the first chart in a new series of jewels. And so she went and collected the design from the Stampede when it was over, and she's busy writing instructions and getting that ready. So we'll share that when it's available.
Nice.
And then for her kits, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but one of our suppliers sent us the wrong weight of thread. So we ended up with a whole bunch of Kryneck number 4 braid, whereas the chart called for number 8. So Frida and I talked about it to see if we could make the number 4 work, but it just isn't thick enough to fill the space and do the design its justice. So we decided to hang on to the kits for a little bit longer until the correct color could come in the number 8 braid. And that should be here in the next week. So then we'll be able to get those kits out then.
Okay.
Everybody's human, so.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it somewhere, and I don't recall where, and then my, what shall we say, my wanting to kind of make things work, I thought, could you double it? But I think that would be a lesson in frustration.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I'm sure everybody might have a thing or two to stitch on in the meantime.
That's, yeah, exactly. Oh, you're funny.
Yeah. So then I guess we can just jump right in and start talking about our monthly stitch along projects. So the first one that we talk about is the Eliza Martha Linn foot sampler, and it is in the 11th month already. So
You're right.
yeah.
Okay.
So the 11th month officially starts on the 1st of August. And so the section for the 11th month and the 12th month is this basket. And I believe you're familiar with it, Rose?
I am somewhat, because I did finish it and fully finish it.
I know you have it close by.
I do. I have things underneath my feet and I don't have a lot of movement. I'm in a different spot today, as we talked about earlier, because my granddaughter is upstairs. So I gave her the upstairs and I've got my downstairs craft room. So no apologies for what you see behind there, but it's a bit of a mess and organized confusion. So there's Eliza, and I framed her myself. Yeah, I can't remember if this frame came just as it is or if I did some painting, but yeah, I tend to do stuff like that. So that's Eliza.
Yeah. So I would say that my biggest word of advice is, because you have 2 months to do this section of the sampler, is to do all of the cross stitch first. So all of the grapes and leaves in the basket and the leaves that kind of come down here, because when it comes time to doing the basket, they're going to be your counting off points, your landmarks. And so it's important to have them in place before you start to tackle that basket.
I agree with you. I believe that's what I did. And it worked quite well. And you need that, like you said, that sounding off board, that, you know, where it's already situated.
And so there, on the Facebook group for Eliza Martha Linn foot, there are lots of people that have finished it and lots of people that will be working their way through it. So definitely keep that resource in mind if you run into any challenges with that basket. And we'll talk more about the actual satin stitch of the basket in the final month next month, just to make sure that everybody gets through it okay. And then that will be the end of that stitch along. So it's exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that was the stitch along available from our shop, Traditional Stitches, the Attic Needlework, Needle in a Haystack, Stitch in Time in Australia, and the chart is also available from Hands Across the Sea Samplers website. And we have kits and supplies available, as well as those cool, and I don't have one here, but the acrylic items that Kathy from Needle in a Haystack made, the ruler and the quarter gauge and stuff, we still have those available. So it's a good time to stock up if you don't want to miss out on those.
Right.
And then the next stitch along that we have is our total Traditional Stitches exclusive design, which is Esther Blackwood. So that's a picture of the chart. And then Rose, do you have your model there?
Oh, I sure do. Do you want to see the well, I can show you the model, and then actually I'll show you this first. Okay, so we're on the 8th month. I can't believe that. So I feel like we are getting to the meat and potatoes. So we've got a little bit of the border, these vertical dividing bands, some words, and some little motifs around. Okay. So, and when I refer to meat and potatoes, it's all of the very dense stitching on 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. So.
Well, the one you showed us for part number 8 covers a lot of space on the sampler, but it's not a ton of stitching.
No, it isn't. You can see all of the wide open spaces, and yeah, it's a prelude to 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I believe 11 has the bottom, but I won't get into that. So
yeah, those motifs are going to be fun because they're a little bit Berlin woolworky, and yeah, so looking forward to that.
And everybody's going to have their own way of how to count. I will use a metallic board and a metal board, pardon me, and a metallic ruler, and I don't have it down here at the moment. Lots of different ways. Some people might photocopy and use a highlighter. There's highlighting tape, and because I'm downstairs and I don't have access to all of my stuff, I do have highlighting tape if I want to. Yeah, you just got to take your time. So be interesting to see how people tackle those. So I will show you my progress thus far up to the end of month 7.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for the wrinkles. It's a little bit wrinkly. Let me just see if this helps. I don't know. It's a little bit dark. I think this helped, this light. There we go. Okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
month 7. It is really pretty. And we are, I believe we're over halfway. Well, we are the month 8, but because there's so much empty space, we are definitely, so you're really seeing the beauty of this piece. Every time I pull it out, I go, oh, I can hardly wait to have it done and on my wall. But yes, patience.
Gorgeous. Good. Well, we ran this exclusive with Hands Across the Sea a little bit differently than we did with Anne Morrison, because unfortunately Anne Morrison went out of print so quickly. Yeah. So with Esther Blackwood, we ordered a few more charts so that we would have some stock to continue on. And we have people joining our Facebook group and people who are ordering charts almost every single day. So I'm glad that we made that decision. And so at this point, we continue to have them available.
And I have noticed, and it goes in waves, that people ask to join. And I think it's maybe after a video or something, and all of a sudden I'm inundated with, 3 people a day for a couple weeks, and then it quietens down. And yeah, it is exciting. So.
Yeah, it's fun to have so many people join us. So I enjoy that. Yeah. Awesome. Good. All right, so then let's just talk about what you've been working on since our last video.
Okay, so as you know, I'm working on Jeanette Douglas's mini bouquet sampler SAL, and she always comes out once a month with a new motif. And I'll just show you to remind everyone what the finished piece looks like. And of course, it won't come out until the 1st, and she's very, very diligent in that. She does not send sneak peeks of the stitching, or she does of the stitching, but of the chart. And the last one is this July one. And sorry, the lighting is a little wonky. There we go. She suggested that for people in Canada, they might want to change the red, white, and blue flowers, or the blue flowers to white flowers, because our Canada maple leaf is red and white. And so that's what I chose. So they're not quite showing. I did bring a board. So let's see if that helps. No, it's too big. I need a smaller board. That's okay. So I did change it to the red and white. There we go. And I'm pleased with that. So August is I'm not sure what August is actually. What do you think that is? Strawberries, tomatoes, maybe strawberries.
Oh, maybe strawberries.
Yeah.
Huh.
Be interesting. Yeah. So I'm excited to continue on this one. Month by month, we're seeing it slowly, and I already have a frame for it. So yeah, that kind of eggs me on. So, and the other piece I'm working on, and I apologize, the chart is probably available only on the secondary market, or I think Stitchy Box may have it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they might also have plans to reprint it, but I meant to check in with them on that and I didn't get a chance. So
right, but they do have many. So this is Mary Peacock, and by needleprint. And Stitchy Box bought the rights to print needleprint a few years back, and they have redone a few of them, but I don't think this one quite yet.
No. But if you love that one, a lot of the Quaker samplers have very similar motifs, and you can play with the color layout however you like, but there's lots of alternates available.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, just from any needle workshop, instead of paying maybe some of those crazy prices that you might find online.
I agree.
There's lots of other choices all the time.
There definitely is. So I just happened to have this one, and she was sitting. So I'm doing this on, she's pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing this on 40 count vintage meadow rue or sand dune. Can't remember which one. I get the two mixed up.
Yeah,
and
like
I'm using
linen.
Yeah, and I'm working with Veriswa silks. So I love this one. The rhythm of stitching this one is just, you know, for anybody that's done Quakers, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I know you've done Sarah Tatum, I believe.
From the Scarlet Letter, yep.
Exactly. So you understand the rhythm of Quakers. They're wonderful. So, and I don't know, did I hold this upside down? Oops, sorry.
The beauty of a Quaker motif, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. So,
Fun.
So I'm working on that one, and I've been just doing some smalls. Christmas in July, I've been doing a little bit because I have 13 grandkids that expect ornaments every year. And my plan for the ornament this year kind of got thwarted, and I won't get into that, it doesn't matter. So I had to find something really quick. So I'm using, and I won't show it, even though it might be a freebie, from Cecilia Turner of Heart to Hands, Heart in Hand, pardon me. And it's just a little Mary motif. It's nothing really fancy. So I have to figure out a way of finishing them. So I've got 7 of the blue for the boys, and I've got 6 granddaughters, and I'm using the pink. So I'll figure it out in the next couple of months, I guess.
Well, good for you for being so organized.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. One of these days I'm going to have to just say, you know, I'll do something different, or you're not, no, I don't think it'll ever be where I'll say you're not getting it this year, but I might have to put a deadline of when you turn 18. I don't know.
Well, you've set quite a standard so far, so.
I know, I've got to follow through. So, and that is basically all my whips. I haven't done, you know, I've got a few finishes, but I haven't fully finished them. So, yeah.
So I've been working steadily on my Scarlet Letter, Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger Sampler. So again, I like to say that I've been in the pub all month long. So I'll show you.
It is so pretty.
I'm really enjoying stitching on it, but I'm also afraid that if I set it down, I won't pick it back up. So the videos are really helpful because I can go back exactly a month and see how much progress that I've made in that time. So I figured that I'm stitching about 2 inches in depth every month, and that works out to about 14,000 stitches. So that kind of made me feel better about the progress. So yeah. So let me take out the chart here. So this is the chart, and I'm at kind of the level of the backs of the animals here. So I still have, I'm hopeful to get it done by Christmas time. That's my goal. So we'll see how that goes.
I think that's very doable.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd really like to have it done, but I'd also like to be able to move on to some other things too. But I wanted to talk about a couple of silk thread issues that I'm having with this design. So remember that the chart called for 4 skeins of this background green color. and you came to my rescue with 2 full skeins of the green. I'm running out. I'm done with those 2 skeins. So I did get some Soie d'Alger from our supplier, and the dye-lot's pretty good again, so I'll be able to keep going. But if anybody who's out there that stitched this design, I haven't heard anybody using quite as much silk as I have. So I'd be interested to hear what people say, because this is a chart that we sell regularly in the shop, and I'd like to be able to include, like, have people not run into the same problems that I have. So anyways, it is a ton of background stitching, and if I had been clever, maybe I would have just chosen a solid green linen and just stitched the other things, but it looks so luxurious and full and beautiful that I'm going to be glad that I did it that way.
When you are stitching that background, it has that tapestry feel, which is the whole purpose of it. So yeah, you could have done a different colored background and not stitched it. And I think there is somebody somewhere that has done that way, and it's fine, it's acceptable. So, but it doesn't sound like it would be acceptable for you.
No, I'm going to be extremely happy with the results, but I think that in the end, instead of the original 4 skeins of silk, I might end up having used almost 8. So it's 40 count linen with 1 strand of Soie d'Alger, doing cross stitch over 2. So anyways, I'd be interested to hear if anybody has any feedback on that. So the other thing that I ran into is, I think you can see it better here. In the middle of this flower is supposed to be 2 colors of gold. So there's a light bit and then it's rimmed with a darker bit. And so the colors are turning out to be really similar. And I wanted more contrast.
Okay.
Just see if you can't even really see it in the photo. And let me just see if I can show it in the graph without giving too much away. Yeah, it's hard to even see in the graph. I'll just poke up a little bit here where there's 2 colors in the center of this flower, 2 symbols.
Okay.
So the original colors look like this. So you can see how there is almost no contrast there.
Right.
So I pulled out my very handy Soie d'Alger color card. These have been really hard to find in the past, but we do happen to have a couple in stock. So you can see that it's a great big resource. And I'm thinking about having this bound into a binder so that I can flip through it a little bit easier. But it's got information on how to wash and handle your silk in the front. It's got some color comparison charts in the back, and just graphs like that talk about the color families and what other lines are available in Soie d'Alger. So Soie d'Alger doesn't share necessarily the same color number system as other Auvert Soie threads. But so when I was looking for a new gold color to use, all I did was open this up to the page that had the colors that I am using. Let's see if I can do that. So it is this color family, and these 2 colors are the ones that I was using. So then I knew I could just jump to this one in the same color family, and it would probably do exactly what I wanted it to do.
What a good idea. That's a good resource.
So conveniently, these guys are colors 525 and 526. So they're shading themselves anyways. So this is 524.
Okay.
So I'm going to be able to use it for the brighter center of the flower that I want. And then I'll just pick one of these 2 to do the outer part of that middle of the flower, and it will give me exactly the contrast that I need.
Good.
Yeah. So these color cards, they're not inexpensive, that's for sure, but they have the actual thread samples. So they're not just photographs, they're actually, somebody has taken the time to wrap the thread onto these little cards in their order and attach them into the book, and then put together the book as a resource. So very good. It was very useful for this project.
I bet. You didn't have to start going through drawers and find that you didn't have what you wanted. So.
Or take the chance of picking a color that was from just the slightly wrong family, right? A little bit too much green or a little bit, anyways. So yeah, it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. So now we're getting a message from Zoom that we're running out of time for our video. So I'm going to expedite the next section of our video a little bit, and hope that you enjoy it. As always, the details for everything that we mentioned is down in the video below. But you know what, now that I think about it, Rose, did you say that you finished a strawberry?
I did. So I'm going to just show this book because it is now available again, and it's called Deck the Halls, and there are 6 designs in it. And I have made one, which is upstairs, but the second one, and I better look at the name, it's called It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, is that one. So it's just a real sweet one. So this is 36 count putty, and it's using all of the Weeks Dye Works floss. And yes, I haven't made it yet. It's summer, and being down here to have to stitch things up, and I know I would hand stitch, but I just haven't got around to it yet. It will get done in the next couple of months. But I wanted to show something. In the instructions, they say that you can actually photocopy things and make other things. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try that. And I have a decent photocopier. It isn't a professional one that you go to a digital photocopying place, but I decided to give it a try. And there is my result. So definitely think about that when you make some of these smalls, and see if you'd maybe like to Mod Podge it on a little box or on the side of something. So, I mean, you can come up with lots of different ideas. So that was just my experiment.
Well, the other thing that comes to mind is using that for your finishing, so that you can make your templates or do mock-ups of a new idea that you have, and then you've got the actual size and you can actually visualize it. That would be very good for that.
Lots of different ideas that you could use that. So cool. So yeah, and the other finishes that I did, and I've had this for a couple of years, and I think it's still available by the Victoria Sampler. It's called Victorian Pin Cushion. And I do have, I didn't bring it down, but I do have this wooden spool thing. And so I'm not really scared about doing silk ribbon embroidery in that. It doesn't really scare me. I've done a lot. So I will kind of go one at a time. That is the top. Okay, and then these are the ones I particularly like. This is that little pin keep. I think it's supposed to hold needles.
And
there's one.
Is that a Bargello section on the bottom
there?
It
is.
And so pretty.
She's lovely with all of these different threads and different weights. And then this is the other side of it. And then there's a little strawberry, and that one didn't take very long. So, and unfortunately, you can't see the shape of that finished because I haven't done the hand stitching around it. There again, I have to get to these things. So it'll get done in the next month or two. We need some cooler weather, or where I don't want to be outside so much, and I just want to hole up in my craft room and do that.
Well, our season is so short. I think that you and I are both cut from the same cloth, where we just want to spend as much time outside as we can while we can.
Exactly. Lots of camping, lots of sitting outside. For you, it's probably doing some gardening. I hesitate to say weeding, but and you know, hiking, walking.
Yeah,
So.
cool. All right, so now we're going to splice this with the other video to talk about some things that's going on in the shop.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I did want to talk about a few things that are going on in the shop before we run out of time. The first one is that we have a ton of hand-dyed linen coming in. Finally, it seems like some of our suppliers have caught up. And so we've got a shipment from Weeks Dye Works that will be here any day. Fox and Rabbit has shipped us an order and they're just about to ship us another order. And we actually have a huge order on its way from Color and Cotton. And we haven't heard from them in a long time. So I'm pretty excited about that. So a lot of it is pre-sold, pre-spoken for, but if maybe in the next video, I'll do a parade of what's left.
Okay.
So then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, remember I said I was cleaning out my storage room at the office? Yeah. So I ran into a bunch of things when I was cleaning it out that was like, what the heck is this and why do I have so many of them? So I decided to put a section up on the website that is our summer sale section. And so I'm adding a new item that I find in the storage section every day. And so I'm going to do a little parade of those items real quick. And then just to show it off. So they're 25% off. It's an inventory reduction kind of thing. And it's kind of been fun to find them. So I'm going to start, I'm going smallest to biggest here. And if we run out of video time, well, that's okay. So the first thing that I have is these frame locks. And so what they're meant to do is go in when you're stitching on stretcher bars, so canvas work projects, needlepoint, that kind of thing. And you've got the inexpensive stretcher frames, the ones that they mesh together at the corner and you attach with tacks. If you put this in the corner of each join, it helps stabilize the frame, keep it a little bit square. So they come in a pack of 4 and they're regular $12.95. The next thing is these spool huggers, package of 6 or 12 of them. And so you might ask, what would you use that for? So I have a couple of examples of how I use them personally. One is on my spools of SWA 100/3. I tend to get over aggressive and pop off the cap, which is also what holds in your tail, right? So then you wrap, this is what they're meant to do, is wrap around your spools and hold your tail and hold everything up together. The other thing that I use them for, though, is when I'm stitching a project in hand, is to hold my extra fabric. And so then I just hold it by that. It's nice and lightweight. It keeps it nice and tidy and all rolled up and protected. So there's those. We have these kits from Little House Needleworks that she did as a limited edition called Love Family Home. And it includes the chart, all of the classic Colorworks threads, but also a thread keep from Sampling of Memories that has this beautiful silver key on it, which if the subject is love, family, and home, what's more appropriate than a key?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have a bundle of these ultra punch needles that include 3 sizes of needles and a threader. And I don't know why we have so many of these, but sometimes I just don't get it right. But anyways, these are great punch needles because they've got a really nice pencil to hold on to. Some punch needles have really, really tiny little shafts that you hold on to do your punching. So these are great. DMC color cards. These are the new ones that have the actual thread samples in them. And they have variegated colors, the light effects, the color variations, and good charts about pearl cotton and stuff. So that's awesome. Okay. And then some mugs. I like to wine while I stitch. Okay. Which spelling of wine is that? Who knows? Anyways, so I've got one black one and a couple of pale blue ones. I have these clipboards, and they came from Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitchworks did a series of charts last year before that were kitchen cuisine themed.
Oh, yeah.
And so these are finishing items that would work with any kind of design. If you're looking for a clipboard, this is great. So they've got the clip on there as well as a hang hole here. The finishing projects. We had bought out a bunch of halo ghosts. So I've got lots of those in the storeroom at the moment. And so that's the lamp that people are taking to workshops that is rechargeable. So this is mine. So it sits on your table and it goosenecks towards you, and then it has the flap for the magnifier. So this thing I charged when I went to the attic at the beginning of June, and it's still charged.
Yeah.
So, and how it charges is got the cord with the USB, and you can either plug it into the wall or your device or your battery charger. So that's pretty cool. And then these two beautiful kits from La Di Da. This one is to gather again with the finishing fabrics in there, as well as your linen, your threads, your needle. Just beautiful, just like gorgeous presentation. And then another one called the Summer Stitcher Needlebook, which again, all of the finishing materials, and these are just beautiful. So sometimes I don't know why these things are still lingering in the shop, but I'm glad to have them, and I'm glad to be able to share them with you. So, so just a couple other things. So our reopening and having people in the store is going excellently. The enthusiasm of the people and just getting to be back into doing what I originally started doing, I'm really enjoying it. So that's going awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, so we might expand our hours or availability. I'm thinking about it, but on the other hand, every time we turn around, we hear about another person that we know that's got COVID. So maybe not, I don't know. It's a hard decision to have to make. But.
And they're saying numbers are going up a bit, and there's a subvariant. And I think as long as you take precautions, whatever that is for you, I'm not here to say what it is, but you know, life does have to go on too. So,
oh well. Look, we're just going to make the best of it. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, exactly. Good. And then, so what have you got coming up? You have a wedding, and I have a wedding in the next couple weeks.
Yes, my daughter, my oldest daughter, is getting married in 2.5 weeks. There's a little yay, you know, they've been together for a long time, and so we're excited to have that wedding. And so that's the next 2.5 weeks. That's where our focus is. And one of these days I will start their wedding photo, but it's and I'll show you next month what chart, I guess, I am using, but I have to kind of design it myself. So I'll just mention the name Stitch People, if anybody knows that it's kind of people that you do your own personal take on it. So that'll be probably not for another month that I'll start looking at that. And maybe some camping at the end of August, later on. How about you? What's up?
Just going to a wedding in BC for a few days, and then back to it. Yeah, lots of staff time off again in August, so we'll just cover that and make the best of it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Rose. Well, thank you very much for your time again today, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good, Janice.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all.